Cheryl Pounder joining us now. Cheryl, it's time for fantasy or reality. I'll make a statement. You pick a side. So here we go. Wayne Gretzky has the record for most points in a single Stanley Cup Final with 13. Connor McDavid is going to break that record in this series. Fantasy or reality?
Fantasy. And listen, you know that the quizmaster would say he's the most evolved player that has ever played the game, a generational talent. And there's no doubt that he can do it, but I do not think it will be in this series. And there's a number of markers for me. You know that both of these teams are playing strong defensively in five-man units. They've got goaltenders that are standing to task, and Stuart Skinner and Bobrovsky as well. But there's this guy on the other side, I don't know, Barkov, that McDavid is going to play against. Barkov, a Selke winner, two-time Selke winner that is, who knows how to play on both sides of the puck. And it's not just about speed, it's about the brain, knowing the spots that you have to get to in your own zone, as well as when that puck is in transition, and he is masterful at it. I do believe that McDavid will find a way to adjust, will get on the board. That's just who he is. He learns as he goes because he gets the kitchen sink thrown at him. But I also believe that someone like Barkov is going to push him into Forsling, who's been outstanding in the shutdown role, just using that stick, making sure he's activated and protecting the middle of the ice. So I think this is going to be a close one. I think it's going to be physical. It's going to be right down to the wire. The wear and tear of this series, I don't know how many goals are going to be put up.
How about the Stanley Cup Final that's only gone 7 games once since 2012? That was back in 2019, Cheryl. But this year's final is going 7 games. Fantasy or reality?
Reality. I think this one's going the distance or pretty close to it. And listen, you look at the metrics, you see how close these two teams are. And you look at the high-end talent on one side, and then you've got the Kachuk-like aspect on the other side. But again, it comes down to the defense for me and how tightly contested this game is going to be. It is going to be physical. I mean, look at the 739 hits that the Panthers have been put up in this playoff. And then, of course, you look at the power play on the other side by the Oilers. But you look at this back-and-forth team, stylistically very, very different. The Panthers are going to be heavy, heavy, heavy on the forecheck. I think they'll keep and hold that identity because they believe that that is what can slow the speed of this team, the Edmonton Oilers, down. So I think it's going to go back and forth. And I also believe that both teams have great coaching and buy-in. And when you have that kind of buy-in and belief, you are willing to do whatever it takes because you are connected in that belief. So one can get one game and the other one's going to push back. So I believe this one's going the distance.
Yeah, it's all about the adjustments in the playoffs, Cheryl. One more for you, and it's prediction time. The Oilers will win the series and end Canada's Cup drought that dates back to 1993. Fantasy or reality?
Reality. The Edmonton Oilers are going to win it all. And it's interesting. I was reflecting back to last year, and I was watching that post-game presser after they lost to Vegas. And I keep going back to the faces of Draisaitl and McDavid. And I feel like they're wearing that in their hockey bag right now. It has come with them to this final. So I believe that they're going to be potent, and I believe they're going to drive play, and I'm going to give it to the Oilers in 7.
The Panthers will say, hey, we lost in the final last year. But good stuff, Cheryl. This has been Fantasy Reality with Cheryl Pounder.